offices and
Headquarters.
yeah,
All
right,
right.
yeah, right.
I love that headquarters.
So, Paul,
Yes, Paul.
fill me in a bit, like, because Mark has been talking to me about you, and what you do, and he has been telling me that you are a lot of social media and stuff. But what is exactly what you do?
So the name of my company is CM Junk and Demo
I saw
Services.
your truck down there, yeah.
Yeah, we are a full-scale demolition business
Nice.
that also has a leg of junk removal.
Yeah.
The junk removal kind of came about for two folds. One, moving down here from New York a year ago, I didn't have a network, and I'm still developing that trustworthy
Same
network.
business.
Same business. I was
You moved
also a high voltage lineman.
Got
So,
Wow.
but I never ran the business full time.
Yeah.
It was always like little side gigs when I'd have time off or friends, family favors, blah blah blah. So the junk removal was a very low cost way to get my foot in the door and give me a chance to shake hands, pass business cards out, put street signs out, and to go pick up your couch for $150. It allows me FaceTime,
Yeah.
Right.
and it allows me a yard sign in a neighborhood where otherwise I wouldn't be able to put one, right? So then I started pitching the demolition real heavy, and what I started to notice was the junk removal and the demo are like symbiotic.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the houses that I work in are held in estates or divorcees or people that can no longer afford it, need to go into assisted living, they pass away, so on and so forth. And a lot of these houses don't want to get sold as is, or they get picked up by investors. So when the investor comes in or the potential buyer comes in, you have to clean all that clutter out that person has lived with for 30 years in their garage, their attic, their wherever, in order to complete the demolition work, to open up the floor plan, rehab the home, make it list ready. So I'm like, why wouldn't I offer a one-stop shop?
Right.
I can get rid of all the garbage, then I can come in and do your demo. And now it's also been evolving into something else, which I'll touch on later down the line. But that is the basis of my business: interior, exterior, residential, commercial, industrial demolition, full scale.
So you do anything like drywall, wood, tiles, plumbing, I'm pretty sure, concrete as well.
As far as demolition
Dirt,
goes,
right? Demolition and removal, I guess, as well. So
yeah. So not only do you not have to rent the dumpster and throw it in the driveway, I come with my own 7x16 dump trailers that can handle a lot of debris, and I haul the stuff away for you as well, and that's all built into the estimate. You don't have to juggle.
What do you use for the interior demo? Like, you do it mostly handly?
It all depends. I mean, we use a lot of baker scaffolds if we have to take out complete, false walls and stuff that isn't load bearing.
Right.
A lot of chipping guns with spatula bits. There's a lot of tile in Florida. There's a lot of hardwood. The new stuff is the LVP. We haven't done too much with that because those are like the rehab homes now that they're putting in just to put on the market. But the majority of it is tile.
Right.
And then we got to get the glue and all that thin set off. So we got to hit it with another pass. Eventually, we'll start offering, different type of equipment just to downsize on labor, meaning like minimize labor time with there's special like sanders and stuff. But it's all checks and balances, right? Like you got to work with what you have for so long until you build up the funds to buy what you need, and then you can push it and be more competitive. So that's all part of that juggling act, but yeah.
I'm not sure if you already talked about that, but you said that you actually moved here from New York?
Correct. A year ago, a little over a year ago.
That's nice, man. What made you come here to Florida?
I was pretty sick of my career. It was cool. I enjoyed doing what I did.
Same business? Is
no,
that what you were doing up there?
I was a high voltage lineman. I was a union high voltage lineman, and it was very dangerous, very time consuming. Didn't get to be home a lot, and you never knew when you were staying late. So I could think I was going in at 7 a.m. and leaving at 3, and at 2, a transformer could take off, or wire hits the ground, or somebody has no power at their house. Yeah. Now I'm working till 7, 8, 10 o'clock at night, and there's nothing I could do about it. It's actually part of the contract that you sign. In an emergency situation, they have the right to keep you without forewarning. Right. So anyway, I was doing that, running my little thing on the side. My wife was a hairdresser for 13 years. We built a hair salon at our house. We had a little a big detached garage where she ran her business out of.
Nice.
And then she got pregnant, and we had our daughter, and she went through a real bad bout of seasonal depression / postpartum. And she said, I do not want to raise our kid here in this disgusting weather where I'm just cabin fever all day long.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I don't really want to be here either.
Need that sunshine.
Yeah.
Where you want to? I said, where do you want to go? It's got to be somewhere warm. Pick.
Come on.
Right.
Coming from New York, there's
Right.
only one place you go.
Florida.
Right? And that's Florida. Everybody in Florida knows somebody from New York. My stepmom is from Long Island.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, everybody's.
But were you born and raised up there?
Born and raised in New York.
All your life.
My whole life.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I moved around a bit after high school. I moved around a little bit, and but I always came back to New York.
Yeah. Man, that's good, because that's actually a very good example of what we were talking about yesterday. Remember that? And it was about keeping an harmony within your life. Because like you were saying, you were a union worker, so you were doing multiple hours. You were probably making a very good paycheck.
Very good.
But you were not fulfilling your family needs.
No.
So that's what actually made you move into something different. You had your daughter.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about that yesterday, about how you need to keep an harmony in life, because not everything is work and money,
That's actually the least of it, if you really think about it.
That's correct.
And I'm not trying to sound cliche or corny or cheesy.
Oh.
Like, when you have your offspring, something that's yours that looks exactly like you, right? And it's completely like defenseless and it can't take care of itself. I don't know, for some reason in me, something turned on.
Yeah.
Which was very dormant for a while. The way I used to live my life, and I'm completely transparent about this in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Judge me if you like, I really don't care.
Right.
Completely different after I had my daughter. It didn't really change after I got engaged. It kind of changed after I got married. But when I got to see my wife give birth to my daughter, something flipped. Impossible to control or
foresee.
Foresee, exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's instinctive,
instinctual,
your
absolutely.
nature.
It is, as a man. Yeah,
exactly.
150%.
I can tell you are the right people, the right person that we want in here, because this is kind of the message that we're trying to spread. And all of us, the hard workers, we have something in common, and is that we are providers, and we want to provide to our family, and that's what pushed us to keep doing what we do, to keep waking up every single morning, early morning, late night, whatever we got to do to keep our family safe. You know what I'm
As
saying?
an extension to that, our community as well.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
you live in that community and you work in that community, and taking care of that community is also, in a way, taking care of your family as well. It's all encompassing.
It's like it all gives back in one big spoonful. But I want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
Something that I've never had to think about. Right, I just went to work every day. As long as I was good to my neighbors and said hi to the guy at the grocery store and didn't cut the pastor off on his way to church. I was good, but I never really understood community. We don't realize how much these small businesses and these medium-sized businesses add to our community where I decided to live, right? I decided to live in Port St. Lucie. So when you join stuff like the TCBA, when you join stuff like the Chamber of Commerce, when you join these networking groups, when you join this, when you join that, right? A lot of people are it's like $600, $400, $300, all this stuff. And they're like, I don't really know if I'm going to get much out of it. Mm-hmm. When somebody hits me with that, my rebuttal to that is, do you know why I joined? Because I want people to see me in a room where they know I can walk in with my chin up, my head held high, knowing that I do good business on the up and up, where I don't have to worry about watching over my shoulder or somebody saying, hey, watch out for that guy. Because those dudes lurk in the shadows.
Yep.
Those dudes do not want to be in these public settings where they'll get exposed. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I walk into any room knowing that whatever I did was my best possible, effort.
Exactly.
And I did it honestly, fairly, transparent. And you can't make everybody happy, right? You're not going to make 100% of your customers, your clients happy. You're not.
And it's not.
But we strive for it. And
it's people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Anybody who's been working long enough has met 80 people.
Yes.
Has met the grimy people, those people that have that don't want to do the networking and stuff like that. So any opportunity you get for this kind of interaction and networking is great for.
I welcome it. I welcome it.
And that's something we always tell our guys. Like, listen, man, when you are somewhere working for a customer, you want to do something that whenever you are out there having dinner with your family, and then you see that people coming into the same restaurant, you want them to be like, hey, my friend. You don't want to be like, oh my God, there's that guy. Remember what he did on their property?
100%.
No. You want to be able to watch them face to face, eye to eye. And, they will be happy to see you also that
Especially when you're wearing that shirt, that logo. Yeah. Especially, right? And if your guys don't treat your business as their business in a sense, you don't really want them around, right? Because they're they're that, like, I guess the face in a sense, right? Because you guys, as much as you manage the office and go on estimates and meet with clients and so on and so forth, those guys are out there doing the work. Yeah. I'm sure you guys did it just like I did it, but you're not out there finishing concrete anymore.
Right.
These guys are. So they need to feel like they're part of the family, that they're respected, that they're valued, and then they'll reciprocate that based on their quality of work that reflects Venice.
We're very lucky right now. We have a great group, great guys, man.
That's hard to find.
It's
hard to find.
It took a long time.
They are all hungry. They want to go for more. They want to learn. They want to grow within the company. And they respect each other. Everybody has good and bad days.
We're men. We're at work.
Exactly.
Stuff gets heated. But
next day,
see you later.
Right. Exactly. We're very lucky on that end.
So you talked about what you do. What's the next stage?
So, now I don't want to divulge too much info because this is something that I've conjured up in my own mind that I'm kind of facilitating, and I don't know if it's going to work. I have no clue, right? I didn't know that starting this business, X amount of months ago was going to work. I had no idea. But the real end goal here is to create CM into a household brand, right? We're going to eventually separate the junk removal and the demolition. And then we're going to have CM consulting as well, where we consult clients on the construction process, almost like an owner's rep type thing, but based on house flipping. Okay. So we can show them a house flipping portfolio, show the revenue we've generated for hands-off house flippers, quote unquote, and then say, hey, listen, you want to get into the house flipping, real estate investing side of things, and you have some liquid set aside you don't know what to do with, and we can guide you in the process, charge you a fee, and then grow that money for you and give you something to do. So that's the goal for me to get into real estate investment on a bigger scale. I've done it twice already. I've done it 4 times already, where it was pretty lucrative. One was, but that's all part of the game, right? And joint ventures we spoke about, right? We spoke about that the other day. So I guess the best way I could present it is this. Since the inception of this business, I've found holes to fill. Just like I found with junk and demo combining it, I found that after the demo, you have to vet 3 flooring guys. You have to vet 3 drywall guys, 3 painters, 3. Why do you want to do that when it takes up so much of your time to review estimates and see if you're comparing apples to apples, when if you're happy with how I did my work, what I was supposed to do, right? Wouldn't you then entrust that the people I recommend to you would uphold that same standard of work, that same level of quality, right? When I got into the entrepreneurial business, side of stuff, I didn't even know what an exit strategy was. Right? And here I am 8-10 months later, knowing that in 3 to 5 years, if I can get CM junk and demo services to $1 million a year gross, now I'm in a whole different pool of investors that
Right.
will offer 3 to 5x based on your valuation.
Yep.
And that's where my creative financing for myself is going to come into play, because if I can take this company that I grew in 3 to 5 years and sell it for 3 to 5 million
Right.
liquid,
Right.
and then what that looks like also usually for the most part is they'll keep you on as a
Yeah.
consultant
Yep.
for a couple of $100,000 a year for
You can
6
always
months.
contract that in.
Correct.
Like that.
Yeah, and that'll be part of the exit strategy. Is say, hey, listen, I'll stay on for 6 months to a year for a fixed salary.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure the transition with all the clients and all the systems and everything takes place seamlessly, and you guys don't buy a sinking ship because I stepped out of it,
Right.
which is giving them assurance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not only that, I'm working 10 hours a week
Mm-hmm.
on a business that just brought me $5 million that I'm still making a salary on,
Right.
and doing what I want to do. Correct.
You have now, and that capital that
Yes,
you've
sir.
gotten, and you're putting it into something else. And
That I
growing it
really want to do.
exponentially. Yeah,
Exactly. And then everyone always says, I don't know who they is, but the millionaires and billionaires in this world is the hardest thing to do is make your first million.
Right.
Once you make your first million, if you can perfect those strategies and systems and standard operating procedures and stuff like that, and scale, it's to the moon after that. You just got to hold on. You got to strap in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the goal, right?
I know we talked on the phone the other day.
Yeah.
And we were talking about generating unwanted leads.
Mm.
And I know we're not the only ones that have dealt with this problem. So other people are going to deal with this too. But like, I just kind of wanted to fold that into like creating good problems, just in general, right? Because good problems that there is such a thing.
Absolutely.
Good problems to have.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, you're like, crap, I got to deal with this. You know, but if you're
or too much work, turning down work is a great problem to have.
You're building a
doing
product and selling it off a shelf, and you keep selling out. That's a good problem
Correct.
to have, right?
Correct.
You know, then you just need to make more so you can keep selling it. So growing pains, if you will, right? So
yes.
As we're growing, so are there any specific growing pains that you're feeling? Because Lewis here hit a 10-year anniversary with the company, so he's gone through a lot of those growing pains. And
tell me about it.
Yeah, yeah. He can just tell you stories if you want, or if there's something specific that you want to ask.
So, I'm sure you went through. I know you went through this, especially if you've been here for 10 years. I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. Right? Listen. I've worked in every construction trade under the sun.
Right.
I know my way around any power tool or pneumatic tool or hydraulic tool or excavator or piece of equipment you can think of. But when you start a business, you wear 25 hats.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be the guy who goes out and sells. You got to be the guy who draws up the estimates. You got to be the guy who sends out the follow-up emails. You got to be the guy who vets the bad leads and the good leads.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to the networking events. You got to spend time with your family. There's a million hats you got to wear when you first start the business, right? And then you have the fear of, when do I hire my first full-time guy? Do I have enough work to feed this dude 5 days a week?
Yeah.
Or should I say, listen, go and find yourself some full-time employment if you really like working for me that much.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm ready, come back and I'll put you on full-time. Kind of figured that out a little bit. The biggest thing is the marketing budget type of thing, and where you market and how you market and who you market with.
Right.
Every marketing company out there right now, for the exception of a few maybe, I haven't run into them, are all out there for charging you 6 months of SEO and then telling you that it all takes time, and then there's no way of you to really track it because you don't know how to do all the back end and website plugins and all that stuff yourself.
Yeah.
So there's no way for you to log in and check if they've done anything, so on and so forth. So what's been working for me, which I haven't really hired a marketing agency yet at that level, but I've done a lot of work on Yelp. And I've been talking to my buddy Will in New York, who has a flooring company. The guy did $180,000 his first year, $300,000 his second. He's in business 3 years. He's on pace to do over $600,000 in revenue. Yeah. In 3 years in flooring, that's nothing to sneeze at, right? So I told him, I said, I'm spending X amount of money on Yelp. He goes, okay, so how much work have you gotten from it? gross revenue.
Right.
I told him. He goes, triple your budget immediately, right away. He goes, and hold on, glue your phone to your head, get ready, because I haven't even heard of those numbers yet. So everybody in my business that I talk to says they don't have any luck with Yelp.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do, but I do.
There you go.
And so growing pains, right? I know all my numbers. I know exactly what numbers I have to hit. I know exactly how much it costs me every day to step out of my door, to fuel my trucks, my insurance, my everything, you name it, right? I know exactly how much it costs to the penny.
Right.
What I need to figure out is how to set up a truck, one truck, strictly dedicated to junk removal, 2 guys riding in it, and a trailer behind them, and get them to do 2 full pickups a day, which is $699. We charge $699 for a 7x16x4 dump trailer, which is 19 cubic yards roughly. That includes labor, hauling, and dump fees. That's it. No hidden fees. You fill the whole trailer up, we tarp it, and we're on our way. It's not like, hey, Miss Jones, it's sticking out a little bit, or we can't fit it all in, and we pack it. Like, we don't throw a dresser in their hole. We take the drawers out, we break them down with a hammer, we slide them all in. Like, we pack out your space. We don't give you any airspace. We're not wasting it, right?
Yeah.
So I got to figure out right now, based on my referral partners, how I can get that one truck and put 2 reliable guys in it. I already know what I have to pay them.
Right.
That truck can generate, with 2 full pickups a day, 6 days a week, that truck can generate over $200,000 a year in net profit.
Right.
One vehicle. The operating costs on that are minimal. Truck payment, trailer payment, fuel, labor, dump fees, wear and tear, oil changes, tires, brakes.
Right.
Minimal.
So what's the challenge? The work volume?
The work volume, contacting property management companies, contacting real estate flippers, contacting auction houses, realtors, estate attorneys, general contractors, guys that really need, people that really need my services, building that referral partner base.
I guess I could pose you the question, like, how valuable would that time be for you to just focus on those calls?
So you're saying if I have a truck on the road operating 6 days a week, creating that type of revenue, right? So here's the trade-off, right? A lot of these jobs, I'm on them.
Right.
I'm leading from the front. Every one of my guys knows I can pick up a dresser or a recliner, knows I can chip up a tile floor and make it look nice, knows I can knock down a kitchen in record time. Knows I can drive the dump trailer in and out of tight spots and get it into the dump. And they know that I can do all of it.
Right.
I need my guys to know that.
Yeah,
that's how you build respect, correct? And I also need them to know that because when I'm not there, they can't screw off and say, hey, boss, this took 8 hours when I know it should have took 4, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, it would buy me an immense amount of time back. That would allow me to work on the business instead of in the business, and I know that that's when it truly grows. So right now what I'm doing is I've dedicated every Thursday of my week, hell or high water, doesn't matter what it is, I do 2 networking events, and then I do one in the morning, one at night, and then I work on my business in between.
Maybe one of the hardest things for you to learn how to do is stepping back once you have established these reliable workers to handle that, and then separate yourself a little bit. I know it was a learning curve for you too to step back a little bit.
Of course.
And there's other people that we know in the industry that they can't separate themselves, and it hurts them so much.
It does,
because they cannot put that time.
It creates a ceiling for you. It creates a ceiling for you.
Yeah.
Who you are that took to build this company. You cannot showcase that if you're constantly working in the company.
And there's a balance in there too.
Of course.
You still want to go back and show face on job sites sometimes and be there and shake hands and let the guys see your face and know that you're still checking on them.
And here's what it is, man, because, just like you were saying, there's different kind of people, right? But the kind of leadership that we have learned is leading by the example, So everybody on our crew, they know we will go there, we will pick up a piece of concrete, we will get dirty, we will get concrete splash on us. We don't care.
We don't care.
And they know that and they respect
and
admire us because of it, right? But you as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you have heard of this, but I get it. It's hard sometimes, and the scare of it, right? Because like,
Yeah.
man, every time I would hire somebody new, I'm like, oh my God, is this the right time? And I'm gonna be able to provide enough
Feed
work
them.
for them, and I'm gonna be able to be responsible for these people.
We've had that
Like
conversation
even
so
when
many
Mark
times.
started working with us, because he was coming from working with the county.
Mhm.
So what safer than working for the government? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then when
You go to work
joined
every
us-
day, you punch in, you get
Yeah.
your pay, you leave, right?
but
And
he
the
was
benefits
he
were
was getting
great.
paid for sure,
Yeah,
benefits
yeah.
and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
like, man, this guy, he's trusting me
Yeah.
to actually provide him and his family for work and every single other person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And man, even when I was scared, it have worked out every single time. So what it is that you gotta focus on those things where you are the most valuable. Where you're spending your time, that is gonna give you the more value back. So just like you were saying, you have realized that your time is more valuable when you're shaking hands, making calls, showing up, doing networking versus being on the job site.
Absolutely.
It is a process, and it is different steps that you shouldn't skip
Correct.
so that you could build it right.
Yeah.
If you look at yourself as an employee,
Right.
okay, and you look at the value you bring to your company and where you're most valuable for your own company,
Exactly.
and then people that you've hired in the past that you may consider as a full-time employee, can they do that same stuff, or do they fit in a better position, right? And if you compare yourself as an employee to what they offer, where do you see yourself being as an employee,
Yeah.
right? And where do you need to position yourself and what value you bring to the company, right? So
I will say that most people you hire will never give it that 110% that
No.
you will, right? So
Yeah.
they're,
they don't
you're
own
going to
it
get
like you do.
70
So
and
they're not
80.
going to have that same.
You're going to get that
Yeah.
70 and 80%,
Yeah,
which is
Uh-huh.
fine, right?
Yes.
And they're always going to mess up.
Mathematically
Yeah.
calculate
Yeah.
that into the price of everything too,
Yeah.
Correct.
because they're not going to bring that same
No.
extra
Production
that you-
time,
exactly.
mistakes,
Yeah.
lag time on work, whatever. So I think the biggest fear for someone like me, and I think you could relate to this, is the amount of liability
Of course.
it creates
Yeah.
when you step off.
Yeah.
Right? I got a guy working on a baker scaffold,
Yeah.
right? And they're only 6 feet long.
Yeah.
6 feet high, 6 feet long, whatever. Just
Yeah.
and he's ripping this drywall down. And I'm on site. I've already done it a handful of times, busted my ass off a baker scaffold. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
But this kid might, he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're watching him walk to the end. He's really in the zone, ripping this drywall down, right? And you're there, so you go, yo, you're at a platform, right? You're running out of platform.
Yeah.
Heads up.
Mhm.
And they look down and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to step
Yeah.
off this thing.
Yeah.
When you remove yourself from that goes out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you got to have faith
Exactly.
that it's all going to work out,
Yeah.
and someone doesn't hurt themselves, God forbid.
Yeah.
You standardize what you can, and that's one thing that we're refining now.
SOP,
is
your SOP.
SOPs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Huge,
so
major.
when you can standardize practices, starting with safety,
Mhm.
Yeah.
starting with
Most
customer
important,
service, right? Those frontline things that you have to ingrain into everybody. It has to be like a cultural thing
Yes.
within the company, right? And then you fine tune the work itself, right? Because man, if somebody is obnoxious in front of a customer at their home,
Yeah.
done. Yeah, exactly, right? If they are constantly breaking stuff or falling off of stuff or putting people in danger, that's an automatic no-go. Right?
Zero
Exactly.
tolerance,
So
yeah.
those are the two frontline most important things, and then you refine the work and skill sets.
Yeah.
And
around that.
eventually, man, you gotta just make peace with that.
Right.
Peace
Right.
with understanding that nobody's gonna treat your company the way you do. Because it's yours, not them. But train the people, talk to them, try to make them come into sense. And just like we were saying, because these people is trusting you
Right.
to provide them.
For their family,
So
yeah.
they gotta understand that the better they do, the better the business is gonna do, and therefore there's work for everybody. And we had a meeting here a couple days ago,
I was
just
gonna
talking
mention
about
that, yeah.
timing as well. Because I'm telling to the guys, like, listen, guys, if we budget a job to be done in 8 hours, it can be done on 24 hours or more because it wasn't budget for that, and therefore we are losing money. And
Yeah.
if we are losing money, there's no work for anybody else because we can't have a business that is not making money.
Right.
And
I can't pay you out of my own pocket.
No,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah,
because
right.
we are not on the business of losing money.
No.
We are on the business of making money.
Correct.
And
Well-
and people need to understand that the business needs to make money,
Yes.
and therefore we gotta work as a team, so the business makes money and everybody keeps having a paycheck every week. I'm gonna tell you, man, this has built my faith because there were times where I'm like, it's Thursday maybe, and I'm like, man,
What am I
don't know
doing
what
next
I'm gonna
week?
do on Monday. Out of nowhere, something show up every single time, and that's why now, when something like that happen, man, I'm just like, it's gonna come, and it always comes.
Yeah.
There's always something that show up.
Yeah.
And it's just like that, and it is the result of what you're doing, of
Yes.
what you keep doing every single day. It just pay off, man. Hard work pays off.
And it's funny sometimes, even if you do have like a slow Friday where there's just a little bit of wrap up work to do and everything's done.
You got to eat that.
No,
Yeah. Cleaning.
Pay the guys,
you know,
eat it. Right.
yeah.
that's the key. Well, it'll pop in our head like, you know what we need to do? We need to clean up that shop. That shop
Yeah.
is a freaking mess. You know what I mean?
It has
And
to be
that's-
done.
Yeah,
That's
and we
right.
haven't cleaned up that shop for 3 months, and
Yeah.
it's got piles of crap everywhere. We got to get those machines oiled and greased
Yes.
and everything else.
Yep,
and we
all
need
the
to get in
Zerker
there,
fittings,
We got to remove
yep.
those piles of dirt and remove all the trash. And I'm like, there's a whole freaking day of work right there. Get the guys
Easy.
over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the coolest thing is too for me, right? If I have stuff to do around my house,
Yeah.
landscaping, whatever it is,
Yeah,
building a fence, and these guys want to work, I'd much rather give the money to them,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
all do it as a,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a team,
Of
and keep
course.
them busy at the house.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I do also too is and a lot of business owners won't recommend this, and I do not care.
Mhm.
I give my guys a timeline.
Yeah.
We got it. This job is budgeted for 8 hours, right? A lot of my jobs, let's say I budgeted for 3 to 5 days, right? An interior demo, soup to nuts, detailing, everything included, clean up, pull off site.
Yeah.
We can get that job done in 2 days instead of 3.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We're all going out to eat.
Yeah.
There you
I don't care if you're sweaty, dirty, messy, you stink like shit, you're tired.
Yeah.
We're gonna go eat because you guys just cost me. You just saved me 2 days of equipment rental,
Mhm.
2 days of fuel, 2 days of tolls, 2 days of this, 2 days of that. And I get to also start another job, take a deposit on with so on and so forth.
Mhm.
You guys get to come and eat. We all break bread like a family,
Yeah.
There you go.
and we leave the
Definitely.
bullshit
Yeah,
behind.
Of course.
I don't care if you got drywall dust in your hair. I don't care if your pants are soaking wet
Yeah.
with sweat. We're
Yeah.
gonna go sit down and eat like men.
Restaurant can clean up after we're gone, right?
You know what I
it's-
mean? And these guys love that. They
Yeah,
get
yeah,
excited,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and a lot of the guys that I employ are very unfortunate. And I think I mentioned this to you before. I come from a crazy background.
Yeah.
I lived a very, very crazy lifestyle when I was in my late teens, early 20s. The guys that I employ are looking for a fresh start. They're looking
Right.
to start over. They had a rough life. They had no guidance. They
Yeah.
were misguided. They
Mhm.
whatever. And these guys just want to work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they don't really have a trade behind them. They don't have much experience doing anything because they lived a rough life.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah,
Thank
of
God I
course.
cleaned my act up, sooner than later.
Right.
But I haven't forgotten what it was like.
Mhm.
When you treat them like a human being instead of like everybody else treating them like who they think they are, there's a different sense of respect there as well.
In a way, you're
Yeah, yeah.
answering your own question too, as far as that full time work goes.
Right.
You look for that next poll.
Yes,
You find
it's a
that this
great
is-
vetting
there's-
process.
There's another one there.
there is.
There's
Absolutely.
2 or 3 of them. There's 4. There's who knows?
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because behind every person that lived a hard life,
Mhm.
not only do they deserve a second, third, or fourth chance,
Yeah.
but once you give it to them
Oh,
and they feel it,
they'll love you for it.
Yeah. Yeah. They will respect you
course.
for that.
and what better value can you put on a man? For myself, the way I assess my value.
Mhm.
We won't talk about how I used to value myself before.
Right.
We'll talk about it
Yeah.
how it is now. Is what kind of an impact can I make on somebody else
Of course.
positively?
Yeah.
It's the value. Every man, and this man, I keep hearing this in like veteran podcasts and stuff like that. How veteran suicide is so crazy right now and everything like that. It's because you go from having, it's ingrained in a man's DNA to have drive and need a purpose for something. You know what I mean? And like to go out and it goes back to being a caveman and needing to go hunt all day so that you can come back and bring food, right?
The joy you get in seeing the look in the woman's eyes when you bring back the food and they're like, "Oh,
thank God I was worried about the babies eating today."
Correct.
Exactly. So it's in our DNA, and to have a drive, to have a mission every single day to go out and accomplish something is in us. And if you don't have that, if you can't find that, it's crippling psychologically, emotionally.
I'm glad you said that. Well, let's talk about the fact that people get beaten down by life,
right?
Whether it's circumstances they put themselves into or circumstances that they could not avoid. It's just life on life terms.
Yeah.
Whether they struggle with addiction, depression, bad family life, car accident. I know a lot of guys that had a great life. All of a sudden they get rear-ended, they break their neck, they lose their trade, and now what, right? Like, if I could sit that guy in a driver's seat of a truck who knows how to drive a dually with a dump trailer on the back,
help him get a CDL. Boom.
Exactly. Now I get you away from the heavy lifting. You still have a purpose. I can trust you behind the wheel. You add value. You get to put bread on your family's table. Now you have your manhood back.
Exactly.
If I can give a man his manhood back and his drive and light that fire back in his eyes that he once had, my job on earth under the eyes of God is fulfilled, right? And I'm glad that you brought up faith, because a lot of people do not want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. That is the number one thing in my life that I have to give credit to. None of what I've done here as a man and the business that I've built over these last months or whatever, I can't give any of that credit to myself. The second I start giving that credit to myself, so my ego grows, my pride grows, and I start making bad decisions.
Well, if that's your foundation,
of course,
your faith, as soon as you give credit to yourself,
you lose your lack of faith. Crumbles.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And those are the values that we stand for, man. Faith, family, and hard work. Because there's no magic.
There's no magic.
The magic is showing up, keep doing it, and God will be behind you.
150%.
But there's this guy. His name is Eric Klein. Great guy. He's on the wholesale investment, real estate. But this guy, multimillionaire guy, right? So I just saw him on this masterclass last Saturday. So this guy, he was a drug addict, alcoholic, from his 13 till his 28, right? So he actually remembered the day because he got a close to death experience where he actually kind of hallucinated different stuff and his family and this and that. And this was his wake-up call. He was like, damn, this guy was living on Chicago, man, under the worst circumstances you could imagine. He's talking about this, right? Very emotional. The worst circumstances, drug addict, alcoholic, and then he got this experience, and he's like, he woke up and he said he decided to move down to Florida, actually, right? So he got clean, he got on the sales business and stuff, this and that. Then he met his wife, and he said that was life-changing for him, right? And he met God and stuff like that. Few years later, after being on the sales, he started this other business that within 8 years, he was about to sell it for $147 million. Wow. This guy.
About being blessed.
And man,
right?
And what is great about this guy, he's there, right, standing on the stage, and he's saying, dude, I was a fucking alcoholic.
Yeah.
A
homeless.
fucking addict.
Homeless.
Homeless.
Yeah.
If I can be here today,
you can be there.
I'm telling you, you can do it. I believe in you. You can do this because I did it. And the guy is a multi-million
unfathomable money at this point in life. Correct? $150 million. Unfathomable money.
Right. Imagine that, and how they call it, like that's like, the F up money.
Yeah.
But that's what is really inspiring, man, because he's telling, if I'm here today, you can do this.
Yeah.
You could be here.
Yeah. You just got to do it.
You don't have to look that far, though, too. And I don't want, this is going to sound really cheesy. All right? But if you know teenagers today that were born here with all of the opportunity, with all of the technology, with all of the wonderful things this country has to offer,
Mhm.
right? Call them spoiled.
They are.
Most of them don't want to work.
They are.
Yeah.
They want to
Okay?
take the easy way
Yeah.
out.
But
Yeah.
then you get people from other countries to come here, maybe with a degree. I mean, bachelor's,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
masters. I mean, some of them with doctorate degrees coming here and finding themselves in labor.
Yep.
And then working their way up.
Yep.
And making the most out of every
So
opportunity.
what does that tell
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
It's not where you come
but
from. It's what you're made of.
It's your
Grit.
Yep, exactly.
Drive,
Yeah.
grit, determination, perseverance.
It has to do with what you were saying, man. Because I think it's growing or seeing the lack of opportunities, and then being on environment where you actually see how those opportunities exist, and you gotta go and take them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take it from granted.
Break the pace real
Yeah.
quick though,
Go
because
ahead, Go ahead.
you have a shirt that's been sitting next to you.
Yeah,
I
I'm-
know who this is.
You do.
I don't know that Lewis does,
Not on.
but I would love to briefly talk about that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
do you give a ruck? It's a nice play on words.
Mhm.
Jimmy Lee Jackson is quite the character.
Yeah.
He's a veteran. He served from 03 to 08, I believe. And he came home and has a hell of a story. And I'll let him tell it when it gets to that point, right? I don't want to tell another man's story, but the point of all this is I wanted to bring this shirt with me because I just mentioned how this community has freely given me the opportunity to grow my business, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of individual would I be if I didn't freely give that back, right? If you
Yeah.
don't give, you don't get.
Yep.
The more you give, the more you get.
Of course.
And you can't give without expecting to get anything in return. You just got to freely give,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
somebody affiliated with the organization reached out to me briefly. They asked me if I could come help out on a project. And when I pulled up on that project, it was nothing but open arms. And these guys, Jimmy and his volunteers and his board of directors and everything else, they were in the trenches. I mean, this veteran was living in a absolute dire straits condition, hoarder home, unhealthy, rat infested, mold ridden,
Yeah.
you name it, the worst possible living condition. You're better off living on the street at this point, right?
There you go.
Jimmy has a lot of sponsors. He gives his blood, sweat, tears, and then some into this organization. It is a veteran-ran organization for the benefit of veterans with disabilities, and nonprofit.
Yep.
And when I tell you they put their money where their mouth is, it is unbelievable. He got Home Depot as a sponsor.
Nice.
They tore out every bit of drywall in that home. I think it was like 1,400 or 1,500 square feet. Gutted it
Yeah.
to the studs.
Yeah.
Everything, kitchens, everything was donated back into that home by sponsors.
Nice.
And because they know Jimmy is boots on the ground and he does the work, suited up in a Tyvek suit with a respirator, and he's sweating his you know what off.
Yeah.
They're no joke, right? And it's the middle of summer in Florida too. It was July.
Yeah.
And he's loading a 40-yard dumpster.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's not just sitting there, hey guys, I'm the founder of this nonprofit and you guys got to go do it.
No, he's in
No,
there.
he's going to say, hey, listen guys, look at what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
I want follow me.
Follow me.
Lead from the front,
Very good.
right?
Yeah.
And they blessed me with the opportunity. This woman by the name of Christy Romano, after I volunteered my services, I saw her at the TCBA event where I first met you or saw you. We didn't actually introduce each other, but she was there. And then she said, what are you doing right now? I said, I got nothing. I'm going to go network. You're coming with me to the Realtors networking event over here, the Treasure Coast Realtors. I said, all right. After everything was done and I left, or she left, and they say, well, thank you for being a member. I didn't pay for it. They paid for my membership.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
Right? As a
awesome.
thank you.
Wow.
Nice.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
The people that run this organization, Do You Give a Ruck? Real quick, they have an event coming up on September 27th. It's called the Ruck March.
Nice.
It's a 20-mile ruck march. They shove as much non-perishable items into a rucksack. And then once that ruck is over and they cross the finish line, they donate those non-perishable items to impoverished people, to the food banks, to
Yep.
wherever it decides to go. And they have like 500, 600, 700 people come out,
Nice.
and they really make a difference. And I want to get aligned with an organization like this because I know for a fact that a lot of people lose faith in charities and non-for-profits, right? Because they can never follow where the money goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, every time you get to a clean out or some sort of a project he does for veterans, Jimmy and the organization, you can see dollar for dollar where that money goes.
So look up the event for sure.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta
called
get there early to. It's not just
What is it
like
on the back?
It's not
Well,
just
this
an
is their
event.
little thing, the Treasure Coast Ghost Battalion. Jimmy figured that out, and yeah, I have more information, and maybe Mark and Luis can
Share that.
post it,
Yeah,
on the
of course.
podcast
Yeah,
link.
you gotta
But
get there early to take part in the Rock March
Yes.
part. But if you can't do the Rock March part,
come
they
anyway.
still take donations.
Absolutely.
Throughout the event, they usually have some vendors and stuff like that, posted up, and sponsors and
That-
stuff. You
that's
can
what he
visit as
does.
Well, so
Yeah, he gives a sponsorship opportunity to people. You get put on the back of a shirt, your logo, your company info, and then you can set up a table with a skirt and a booth at the
it's
event.
all to support this nonprofit
Yes.
right here. that
100
takes care of a lot of
150%.
people. Yeah.
And just before wrapping up, I just want to circle back to what you were saying about doing what you are supposed to do even when nobody else is looking, because I think that's what one of the big challenge people is having today about being congruent. What does that mean? That I'm not sure if I'm using the correct word in English. Being ser congruente, being congruent, right? What it means is that you act with what you say. You put your act in your word and your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you go one direction. You don't say I'm doing this or I'm this way, and then when nobody's looking, you actually do the other stuff.
Cut a corner.
Exactly. So what you pray what you say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you do what your word is saying.
Right.
So that's what it is about being authentic.
Authentic,
Being
yep.
authentic. I'm sorry, man.
You good,
Yeah,
brother?
thank you for correcting me. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to
Absolutely.
say.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Guys like us,
Yeah, we know.
it doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
right?
We're
It's
on the
kind of
same
like
page.
we're on the same
Exactly.
page without even really needing to discuss it.
Yeah.
All cut from the same cloth.
Oh, yeah.
All
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
same
yeah.
driving
Yeah.
factors, right?
Yeah.
The driving motives.
Yeah.
And we all get up every day. We go to work. We try to build our brand.
Yeah.
And our brand is Mark,
Yeah.
Lewis, Paul. It's
Yeah.
not Venice. It's not
Exactly.
CM. It's
Right.
it's really
We're
not,
beyond that.
because I could name my company anything you want.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm a POS,
Yeah.
if I'm a sketch ball, if I'm a grimy person behind the scenes,
Yeah.
that brand will never get built,
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
right?
We appreciate you, brother. A message to any other young entrepreneur who's looking to
Absolutely.
get into the trades. What would you say?
I would say jump in with both feet and figure it out on the way up.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Don't be afraid of working and researching at the same time. It's going to be late nights. It's going to be long hours.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of craziness. Both of them's gone through it, and if they can handle it, you can too. It's just you got to put in that effort, that long term.
There you go.
Constantly grow.
And there's never going to be the perfect time.
Yeah.
You're never going to have everything set up perfectly to launch said company.
Yeah.
It's like Lewis got a sledgehammer and broke that driveway up, to now we're sitting filming a podcast in his office 10 years later.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
sir.
Fill in the blanks on the way up. It's never there. You're never going to have the perfect time. You're never going to know when.
No.
The sooner you start, the sooner you'll succeed.
It's now.
Yeah.
The time
Right,
is now.
right now.
Exactly.
Just
That's
do
your
it.
cue.
Yeah.
That's very true, guys. So the time is now. The day is today.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Keep your faith up.
yeah.
Keep doing, be to other people the way you want to be treated. Treat the other people the way you want to be treated. And what you give, come back. I think
Tenfold.
that's what it is.
Tenfold.
So, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. We'll see you
Nice.
in the next one.
time.
All right.